Hello, welcome into an informal tea time. Me, Clara Apollo. I'm here at my friend Jenna Presley's house because last night we were at the Elevate Conscious Gathering in Salisbury, which was just absolutely delicious right from start till end. We had a cacao ceremony and did a little bit of cheeky qigong, and then we had an amazing ecstatic dance, and then gong bathing, like you never have had ever before, and such a beautiful gathering of people that it was really heartwarming and connecting, and this kind of feeling that this is how we're building the new earth. So I'm round at her house, and here she is. Woo, hello, Jenna.
Hi.
She's in the background there, and. But what I really would like to ask you about this time, because we could rabbit on about all sorts of things, particularly the Elevate Festival coming up in the summer, which you might spill a few beans about at the end, was to ask you about the Scenar treatments that you give people, because this is what you've been doing for like many years. It's something that you have got a real expertise with, and I hadn't had a Scenar treatment until I came round here last time.
Yeah.
And Jenna, you're chatting about it all, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is like. What do you mean you're putting on some gloves that then go into electrodes that go into this frequency machine and give me a massage like you've never had before? And I'm like, okay, give me a go, and it was it was really extraordinary. So we thought today, so I'm tapping a knee, that I'm going to ask you about Scanar, and then I'm going to have a little treatment in the middle, which we may show you some information around, and then come out the other side. Should we have a play?
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So for my lovely Tea Time audience here, as you know, you recognise Jenna because she's been on the Tea Time Collective. She's got her own Rumble channel now because she's really on it with her podcasting. So,
I just like to talk as much as you do.
Yeah, she's trying to get a word in edgeways here. So let's let her speak. So talk to us about Scanar for someone that's never come across those words before, or maybe you've heard it in the background and kind of, what is this about then? Why is it so good?
Well, because it's modern technology, it's not really that modern actually, because Rife in the 1920s and 1930s was an American inventor, and also Tesla were talking about how frequency could heal cancer and heal the body. So we've known that this technology heals the body all of that time, and the reason it's been kept from us is because of that really big business that no one's really allowed to talk about.
Talking about big pharma. But so it's this frequency medicine.
Yeah,
and there's many different forms of frequency medicine, but this is actual science frequency, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's like different, you've got a dial on that machine, haven't you? So you can choose different frequencies.
Yeah, and it's good to mix the frequencies because it gives, because frequency is the body's own language.
Okay.
We're made up of frequency. The brain communicates in frequency. So Scanar is communicating with the brain in a problem area and saying, hi brain, this needs fixing. Because the longer you have an ailment or an injury, often your brain will fix it a little bit and then it just thinks that that's dealt with because you're giving it all these other tasks to do. And with the frequency, you're kind of reminding the brain that there's still some work to do in this area. So it kind of encourages the body to heal itself. But also we're penetrating frequency into the problem area, because when you've got an ailment, an injury, a chronic health condition, often that part of the body, the frequency's gone to sleep.
Oh, okay.
It's dimmed
Goes
down.
dormant.
So we boost the frequency of the area back up,
Right.
But this technology, the machine, there's many frequency devices because different companies make them now.
Yeah.
The one that I use is the Scanar, which was invented by the Russians for the space center. So these are available in space, and it's the astronauts' medical kit.
Really?
Because they can't use pharmacy up there, and an astronaut, because again, big technologies know that pharmaceutical medication actually weakens your system. So an astronaut wouldn't be taking those because they need to be in ultimate health.
Yes.
So they use frequency.
That is really interesting. And I remember after my first treatment, sort of just feeling that this is the first time that my nervous system has been spoken to in a language that it understands. And because it's bioelectricity, so you give these modulating frequencies, which I must admit did kind of make me go immediately
It's
out, which you
amazing.
might
Yeah.
see in a minute.
Yeah.
um, because there's that response within the muscles and you recognize it somehow, but it's not like anything else that you've ever had
It's
before.
like no feeling that you've ever had before. Sometimes
No.
people, in fact, I really love hearing different people's analogies of it. You know,
Yeah.
one lady said, "Oh, it feels like when you get that ginger tingle in your mouth, but on your
Okay.
body." You know, and different people, or it can feel a bit like pins and needles. And I can turn the frequency up. You know, I can turn it up or down
Yeah.
depending on if it's too uncomfortable for somebody. We can turn it down, but usually people like it higher, but because it can make your muscles contract, if it's too much it can feel a bit uncomfortable. So
Yeah, and you've got marvelous intuition as well, and you feel into where it needs to go. Okay, so maybe I've got this shoulder thing going on, and so I would say that to you. I've got a shoulder thing going on, and you'd work on that. But then you'd also say, "What's going on with your ear?" Because I can sense that. In fact, actually, let's remember the ear has gotten old, so you pads on it, which you've not done for
yeah,
me before. But then you get drawn into other areas, don't you,
it really
intuitively?
helps. It really helps that I'm an intuitive.
Yeah,
And I guess every Scalar therapist works very differently
of course,
because
unique.
they would use the machine in the way that they know how to heal the body. So the
Yes,
way that a
yes.
physiotherapist would use it is very different to maybe how I would use it.
Okay.
But because I've got a healer's vision, I'm energetically attuned to different lineages and things like that. I have got that sixth sense. And the more I've worked with people, the more I'm developing a medical intuitive. I can pre-diagnose people often. I don't often say it, but later on they'll tell me the doctors now confirm they've got this thing which I already had picked up on, but I haven't said because, so this is coming through a lot. But what
Interesting.
I'm finding also, because I'm a NLP practitioner, I'm qualified in counselling, I've worked in mental health, I've got this such an overview that, and with energy healing, that when I was working with somebody last week that just had a bad shoulder, and I was working on the shoulder and I kept feeling the emotion of what they were feeling, and I witnessed it. I didn't say anything because it was an emotion that a man wouldn't necessarily like to admit that they were feeling, but I felt it. And then they basically had 4 treatments with me in 1 week, which,
4 in a week?
yeah,
Is that advisable or is that like
it's
full on? Well, yeah, it is full on.
so it depends how quickly you want your healing journey to be.
You're talking fast tracking.
It's a fast track. It's like an intensive healing course.
Yeah.
So if you do suffer with something like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, long COVID, these kind of things that you just want to shift it out the body, to have 4 treatments in 1 week and then do them fortnightly and then monthly maintenance
I see.
is
Okay.
going to be
So
the
you get a
best.
good sort of kickstart on
Because
it.
what happens is, as the scanar's healing the condition, if the condition is emotionally related, then that's going to be kicked out of the body.
Yeah.
And that's when my NLP and counselling and all my tools in that area can
Yes.
support the client with that part of the journey. But it does fast track it, and it's really interesting. I had another client a while ago who had fibromyalgia, and I was giving her 1 a week for about 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden she had this healing crisis or healing phase
Yes.
where she was triggered into a panic attack. And then I visited her to sort of try and support her through that. And I explained to her what a panic attack was, what the anxiety is, it's emotion coming up. And I was able to kind of get to the bottom of, okay, so what is this? We got the subject matter. Then I got her journaling on it. She cried solidly for 3 days, but then came out in this massive rash on her chest in a circle. It looked like sunburn, but it was the emotional trauma being released out of the body. So I think that scalar therapy can be used with some people from a very scientific. In the hospitals in Russia, they actually use scalar, which is amazing. I would love to see it here. because it's known to speed up recovery after operations. It helps, it's reviving the cells and bringing back, the symptoms of Parkinson's disease are disappearing.
Okay.
People's speech is coming back. The tremors are stopping, because Parkinson's is the cells are going to sleep. The frequency wakes up those sleepy cells.
Right. So
You
So
know.
this is reminding me. So
Mm.
Jenna's got one of her youngest clients is a little 3-year-old boy
Oh
with
yeah.
spina bifida. And do you want to just tell us a little bit about what's
Yeah,
been
I mean,
happening with him?
he's such an amazing little boy. So he was born with spina bifida, which, if you don't know, it's like there's a hole, an open wound, hole in the spine, and then some of the spinal tissues kind of bulge out, and these can have varying complications depending on how severe it is. His wasn't that severe, but he's been left with no use from the waist down. When I first met this little boy, he's like pulling himself along the ground, and these dead legs, basically these legs that were just asleep, he's just dragging them around. He had it was very obvious there was no communication between brain and leg. There was nothing there. And only after a couple of treatments with waking up the nervous system, he was starting to wriggle his big toe, then his foot, and now he's at the point where he's bringing his own knees up. So so his family have actually bought themselves a Scenar machine now. Yeah,
great.
because they understand that the more they use it, it's going to improve his condition. And so now, from being told by the NHS and the doctors that this boy will never walk, he's paralyzed, he's now he's now got use of he can now communicate with his legs. So now he can start to learn to walk and strengthen his legs, and that journey.
This is so amazing, because he's young, and to get this treatment in at this age means that he's going to be able to strengthen something that could have been really debilitating, and also to show to others. So they're obviously telling the doctors that this is what's happening, because I think when you have these positive experiences with alternative medicine, for want of a better way of describing it, we need to tell our doctors and healthcare practitioners what it is that's helping us, because they only get a certain amount of training, don't they? And if they can hear that there are other things that are going on, especially
interestingly, they are starting to hear, because my friend who does the training, who trained me, said that they've got so many doctors coming through now to do the training, and they're starting to, we're seeing it a lot in our world, in our side of the healthcare system, that a lot of doctors are retraining, because they originally went into this work because they wanted to help people be healthy, but they don't help people be healthy. They just write prescriptions, and then they're getting disheartened, and then when they're seeing that, oh, they're making people be healthy, I want to go and do that now.
The key that you said earlier on was that the Scenar will help you to heal yourself, like a lot of the treatments that really work help your system to help itself. And of course that's not going to make anybody any money. So we get into this situation now as we're moving into the new earth and creating a new way of being, and co-creating a new way of being, that we know that our health is the most important wealth that we have, and that we need to take it on. We need to learn about what's best for us. And of course, modern medicine is great if you need surgeries, or they're great at doing tests and all that kind of thing, but they're not the only answer. And because big pharma has kind of had,
it's just very biased. It's just very biased towards pharmacy, and often
that's symptomatic, really. So as an ex-nurse, I was shocked at how little the diet came into the treatments of people.
I'm an ex-mental health worker. I used to work in the hospital, in the psychiatric hospital. So again, I was very frustrated by the fact that nutrition wasn't being looked at. That they weren't really they'd understand a little bit about where the symptoms had come from, that there might have been, like a lady with a personality disorder might have been sexually abused as a child. Like, they'd understand that was the cause of the illness, but they wouldn't fix the cause of the illness. They would just hit the symptoms, and I would be like pulling my hair out, and I wasn't as qualified as all the people that were working above me, but I could see it. And I thought, I you know, because there was a point I was going to train as a psychiatric nurse, and I thought, no, this is not where I want to be.
No,
and I'm actually now reversing mental health issues with my clients by healing the trauma, by putting them on a high vibrational diet, which again, we're feeding the electrical system and elevating their spirit.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Oh, so good what you're doing.
Thank you.
How can people find out more about you? Because you're pretty all over the socials, aren't you? She's so good at doing socials. She's teaching me to do a few things.
I was teaching this morning, wasn't I?
Yeah.
So I'm Jenna.elevates on Instagram. Jenna Elevates. I'm Jenna Elevates. I'm here to elevate. And on Jenna Presley on Facebook. Rumble. Jenna Elevates.
Yeah.
Jenna Elevates. Yeah. Jenna Elevates on everything, I think.
Yeah, because she does. And so I was away in Tenerife recently, as some of you know, and I was in the lift with my mum. And most lifts abroad are called Otis. And guess what one of her boys is called?
Yeah.
Did you know that when you named him?
Yeah, and
did you think I'm naming after an elevation, or was it after Otis Redding?
It was actually after Otis Redding. My dad's a big fan, and we were listening to him, and I love Otis Redding, and that's what. But because it was after Otis Redding, I then became a bit disappointed that we used his father's surname, because my surname, so he could have been Otis Presley.
Oh,
and what a name! I said to him, if you ever become a musician and you get famous, you're going to have to use your mum's maiden name as your stage name, because Otis Presley is just
very cool,
amazing, isn't it? I was like, oh. Damn it.
Oh well, they'll have that choice.
Yeah.
Have that choice. So now, my lovely ones, what we're going to do is we're going to move into me actually having a treatment, and Jenna's going to do some video of me, which we're going to patch into this, hopefully. Some of it, not all of it. This is a whole hour long, pretty much, isn't it? So we'll just do some little moments just so that you can see what goes on. Maybe hear some of my strange sounds. And then we will come in at the end for a little brief, what was that like for you, and anything else that we want to speak about. So prepare yourselves. We're going in.
They're going to see your back.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're going to see my back. So anybody who doesn't want to do that, avert your eyes now.
It's like electric Reiki. Electric acupuncture, dry needling. You know, it's a lot of things in one.
That is weird. That's going all the way up to my neck.
Is it? Yeah. Because as it activates a nerve, you'll feel that activation the whole nerve's route.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, that is strange.
Yeah, we mostly work along the meridian lines and the acupressure points. I've got another
Right over my kidney, that's probably why.
Well, what I can do, if you feel like you've got some kidney issue, is I can do a kidney cleanse. So we can organ cleanse just by doing circular movements above the organs. So if I have people that have long COVID, I would do this over the lungs. Got that FM AM frequency on there, which always sounds like Crocodile Dundee's. Well, that thing the guy was doing in the sound bath last night, whatever that's called, if you listen.
Yeah, there's a sound going on. Yeah, it's singing a little song. It's like it's in business. It's getting on with it.
But you can hear the wave of the frequency through the sound. So, if I had someone that had kidney, like, you've got a bit of a kidney issue, then I'd recommend how they could clear their kidneys, what they can do for kidney health with food and detoxing and herbs, and this all comes part of the treatment.
But I remember it from before now, so it's like, yeah, I know a certain amount of expectation. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like such a deep massage that it gives, because the frequency goes all the way through all the structures. So
what's incredible is that I can do a deep tissue sports massage without actually having to penetrate you very hard, because the frequency's doing the work.
And you can feel that.
So it's much more comfortable, but has, for the same kind of treatment. So it's great for sports massage and things like that.
So it's hitting all the structures, even though it is aimed at the nervous system, but you're getting into the fascia as well as the...
Oh my God, it's releasing fascia. It's as it's contracting your muscles, that's what you're feeling. Yeah. It's wringing out all the stagnation in your muscles, which can be, stagnant blood and lactic acid and uric acid and all that, but also those emotional traumas that we were talking about. We're literally pumping them out of the muscles, Poor dogs.
Oh, that is strange.
Is it stronger on this side?
Very much stronger on that side.
So that's the reason it would be stronger on one side than the other, is because it's... Do you want me to take it down a bit?
I don't know, I'm breathing with it.
Okay.
But right inside the shoulder joint, right. Okay. So tell us why.
So the reason you're feeling it on this okay side...
It's because it's not okay.
Well, no, it's because the frequency can get right in there easily.
Oh, right.
So when you've got a lot of tension and things like that, the frequency's struggling to get through. Okay. So sometimes, I won't be getting any movement out of somebody, so it takes a few little pumps, and then all of a sudden, we've got through, Okay. Yeah. So I can see your right side is freely moving, isn't it? Whereas your left side, we've got no movement out of it at all. It's completely stuck. So that it's not healthy. Right. There's no... There we go, we've got a little bit more there. But still, it's very subtle on your left side.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah.
I can feel that, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were speaking a different language and you couldn't tell me how you were feeling, I can read.
So back in after my Scenar treatment, which you might have seen some of in the Chi Time TV on YouTube. If this is podcast, there won't be much to see, but Jenna was telling me all sorts of really interesting things during it, so maybe we'll put some of those in. Who knows? Obviously, we're recording this live, so I'm not quite sure what's going to be in that middle bit, but you know, because you will have just heard it. So anyway, we will move on because, coming out of a treatment like that, the first thing I sat down and let's do the recording. It's like, no, I need to drink some water. And round at Jenna's, your water comes in a nice hot. Yes, so
it's all about intention. Also, can I just let you know that the water is from my ex's farm where 3 ley lines meet, and they've got a borehole, so it's very energetic water.
Very smooth.
It's lovely. It's the best tasting water ever. I'm so lucky to have access. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Thank you. and
it's really important after the treatment because although we're putting frequency into areas and we're doing all of that, it's also a massive detox. And so you need lots of water to kind of flush that through.
Yeah. And that is something that is very easy to overlook because we hear it so much. Oh, drink lots of water. Oh, yeah. It's like, no, really? really drink lots of water. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay, it's going to make you wee a bit more, but hey, that's good. It means that it's all flushing through.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to kind of have a more, because we knew we were recording it, and so I was asking you questions as things came up, and you were then able to share more about what was going on, and that kind of helped me to relate deeper. That thing about how much further it's not just about the nervous system that's getting affected; it's the fascia and all the tissues. It's getting this stimulation, this sort of shuddering stimulation, all the way through to go on, let go of your tension, go on, go on, go on.
Well, it contracts the muscles like this, you know,
Right.
and while it's doing that, it's pumping out toxins, stagnant energy, uric acid, that, you know, but also those emotional traumas that we store in our muscles. It's
That's
pumping
so
those out as
interesting.
well, and that's one of the things I really love about it being like an energy worker and a more holistic approach to health and healing, is that it's a great tool for the holistic
The whole thing.
system.
Yeah,
You know,
because stuff gets stuck in the system until it's given space to release, and then old traumas can get stuck for such a long time because they don't quite know how to. Is it safe to be released? What do we do? So something like this is going to hunt them out, so to speak. Like, get in there. It doesn't want to. The body doesn't actually want to hold tension. The system wants to be clear, free, and flowing.
but it can feel
However,
uncomfortable when it's coming up, and we'll feel this feeling and we'll think, oh, what's that? And then you'll feel anxious about it, when all it is the energy of something wanting to come and clear through, and we'll call that anxiety.
but that's an energy in motion, the emotion, which it
Yeah,
is, isn't it?
but
It's
the feeling
trying
that
to
you're having
move.
while it's happening is an anxiety, but we'll call the whole thing anxiety, but we're still
Yeah,
keeping, you know, I
reading
used to
it.
suffer with anxiety a lot when I was still holding on to traumas. You know, I'd wake up
Yeah.
in the middle of the night like poof, and have to sit up because I had this pet like feeling. And it wasn't until you start clearing. And so now if anything comes up, I say, oh, hello. Oh, hello, what's this? I'm getting, and then you just sit with it. And sometimes you might have a feeling associated with it, or um, a memory. I remember years ago, before I had trained in Scenar, my friend had done it. I used to get a very crook neck. I had this reoccurring issue actually with my shoulder and my neck. And my friend treated me, and I spent the whole next day crying on the sofa because all this stuff was coming out.
Yeah.
It's from something from my childhood that I hadn't even thought I was holding on to.
So that is interesting that you bring that emotional side up, because I'm not feeling that right now, and I don't know if that's because I've cleared a
And
lot
not
of stuff,
everybody
and not
does,
everyone
not
does.
everybody does
But what I
feel
have
it.
got going on, I can feel this sort of going in the
Yeah.
base of my tongue, and you didn't do the vagus nerve thing.
Oh,
Next time,
but you
we'll do
might
that.
have got a bit of that going on with the
But
ear.
yes, so she put the electrodes on my ears because of the thing, and I've been having these headaches on and off. I could feel it going all the way up, and it was weird, but it felt good weird. Like, was this like gentle massaging? I'm kind of doing that movement. That's what it kind of felt like. Go on, go on, go on, go on. You can let go. You can get. So there's now I'm getting used to it more. It feels like quite reassuring, and the way you place it on a particular point, like, yeah, and it might be a bit of a shock when it first goes on, just because you've hit it, a bit like when you have acupuncture. It's like, is that yeah, there it is, you know. And then you have to breathe with that and relax, and then because it's trying to help, you with this old patterning and these old kind of holdings that and tension, you know. It's that it holds like a bruise in a way. I mean, there's
I mean, it can also do it with
your
your skeletal system as well. So if
okay.
you've gained humps and little things that I haven't done it personally with my clients, but the lady who trained me has sent me. I mean, we're always sending each other. There's a big forum between other therapists.
Okay, yeah.
And she's shown me before and after photos and during photos of releasing a hump, you know, because the body wants to rebalance and put itself back, but you just need to keep. But how many treatments you need, and the consistency, and you know, is
Well,
a
I'm going to be interested to see what happens around my knee and my ankle, because those are areas that I've noticed were a little bit pre-arthrinitis, and I obviously want to be dancing forevermore. So I want to take care of my joints using the flexibility of the qigong and the walking for strengthening and the dancing, of course. But I don't want to strain them. So it's going to be interesting to see how those respond to the treatment. So that's good.
yeah.
So all
So
of
it
this.
usually a lot of the time it isn't an instant fix. So I've had
No,
it before
sure.
when you know, often people feel a little bit looser if they've had a trapped nerve and it's created a spasm. You know, we can often get rid of the spasm in one treatment, but the nerve pain will still be there, but it will fade away over the next couple of days.
Yeah,
And that's the way it works, because the
healing.
body's healing it.
Yeah.
So we're so used to a quick fix. But with the Scenar activates healing in the body. So it kind of, the issue often fades away for a couple of days. So I never check up on a client the next day.
Right.
It will be the day after. And that's when we'll know. And they'll say, oh, actually, I didn't even notice it, because it fades away. They go, oh yeah, it doesn't actually hurt today.
Sure.
It's very interesting how it, because that's the body taking over. The frequencies are going to continue to work in your system now for days.
Exactly.
And
this frequency medicine is something obviously I've been interested in for a long time, but to this multi-dimensional aspect that Scenar has, it takes care of your physicality and the energetics and the nervous system. It's like, as you were saying, it's like all these therapies in one somehow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's electric acupuncture, electric reflexology, it's dry needling. You know, dry needling gets, with dry needling, you put a needle in and you turn it and the muscle might contract once. You know, I'm getting a constant repetition of contractions with the Scenar, so it's just so superior to so many other treatments, and that's why I decided to train in it, because I thought, wow, that one is amazing. Because of ailments that I'd suffered, and I'd this shoulder that I mentioned, I'd been to so many therapists to try and fix it, and Scenar was the only thing that actually fixed it. Didn't relieve it, fixed it.
Difference there,
yeah,
isn't there?
so that's why I decided to train in it, you know.
And you do, so it's your Janet is based in Salisbury in Wiltshire, UK, but she also you travel up to Bath sometimes. You come into
At the moment I've got clients in Bath, in London. I visit London quite a lot. I did have a room in Harley Street in the summer, but the building that I was in have changed use, and then
maybe that'll come back if it's meant to.
I like being in the city.
But you're also going to bring a clinic to Langport, where I live in South Somerset. So it's really to get out to as many people that
and actually if a few people would like a treatment in one house, it can take the cost down a little bit if I'm having to travel to see people.
Yeah, as long as it's not the Outer Hebrides.
Yeah, well, if they want to pay, I'd love a trip there.
Yeah. So what have you found that overall, what does Scenar give the quality of life to people?
I just think it just puts you back, if that makes sense, you know, because...
So it does increase your quality of life, does elevate your quality of life.
Well, of course. Yes, it does, because it's because we're working on your body's vibration ultimately. And the way that I work with my clients in a full spectrum, the reason I call myself Jenna Elevates is because I've niched my whole, you know, I work in many modalities of the mind, body and spirit, as well as Scenar. And I believe that all we really need to work on for health is our vibration, because if our vibration, our energy is clean and strong, our life force energy is strong,
it's flowing,
and then we are healthy and ascended in our consciousness,
and they're more likely to be able to connect with the joy. And so there's something about
and then our spirit is happier. You know, it's all, we're all one system, aren't we?
And we are aware of the problems in the world. We're not hiding away from it, but it gives us this resource to be able to manage ourselves and not be pulled into that disturbance, be aware of it, but still choose the joy, still choose the love. There's a resilience that comes when you have a healthy frequency. Do you say?
Yeah, definitely. And that's why today we've been working on this festival
Yeah.
that we're doing, which is a Elevate festival.
Funnily enough.
And we were discussing today about, well, what is it that keeps us a bit stuck and keeps our
Mm.
frequency low? And often it's all the programs. So how can we deprogram ourselves?
It's all about that, isn't it?
So we were sat playing with it and we were thinking, so what things have we had squashed? What were we told not to do as children? And we were saying no. So let's practice voice activation. Let's learn to say no.
What was that? You can be seen, but you can't be heard. Sit in the corner and be quiet.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
let's
right,
make some noise. Everyone make some noise.
Yeah. And also about singing. That's the thing about come into doing some singing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm no good at singing.
Come to the crap singers workshop. Let's all just craply sing together, because just singing is great. You don't have to be good at it.
but what is good at it? You're not singing because you're going to make a recording or be a recording artist. You're singing as an expression from your heart.
Yeah.
And you might think I'm a bit off pitch or whatever.
No, stop that. I love singing, but I can't sing.
And be happy that you're joyful. So it's that kind of, don't let yourself be judged by the sound of your own voice. And when I first started doing all these videos and podcasts, I went through that thing about, I don't like the sound of my voice. It's like, where is that coming from?
Yeah, I went through that.
Yeah, why do we do that to ourselves? Because our friends listen to us and don't go, oh, your voice sounds horrible. So it's like that self-criticism is not ours. We need to deprogram that. It's come from somewhere else.
Yeah. And like I was saying to you, earlier, is I visited a living history museum this week, and I noticed we had a Victorian school experience, and we learnt about the industrial age and all of that. And I just thought, wow, that's where our programming's come from. We haven't actually moved on from that time, because it's all been passed down from our granddads to our dads to us, but we don't exist in that world now. So it's time to elevate.
It's time to deprogram that which is not useful to us anymore. We don't want to be taking old programs through to the new earth that we really don't need. And I think that's why this multidimensional clearing that I've been doing has been really helpful. And then along with what you're doing as well, and probably what you're doing too, this whole undoing, the unlearning of things that we just don't need as we move forward. And then there's space to bring through the new and the co-creativity and the inspiration and the guidance and the channeling that comes from spirit through to.
I think a lot of people's health issues and depression and mental health issues and chronic pain and everything is from existing in a world that they don't feel, like we have to behave a certain way. It's almost like it's because we're all being squashed in lots of different ways. There's a lot that's kind of blocking us, isn't there?
So as we're recording this at the beginning of the Chinese New Year of the Wood Dragon, it's like coming into that dragon power. What does dragon power mean to you? And for me, it actually speaks to my nervous system and my center line, my center ley line, which is your spinal cord as well as your spine and your energy channels. It's like when you can be clear through that, you've got a clear channel through from heaven and earth, so you can get the resource from those places, but also that inspiration, that inner strength, and that empowerment or empowerment. When you feel powerful on the inside, that is your health speaking to you, isn't it? That is your vitality that is here to support all your projects, everything that you want to do, all your relationships, coming from a healthy place that's deep within you. And I think that is where your work is really focused.
Because if you're blocking that central channel with the wrong foods that are blocking your energy,
that as well,
and your mindset that's blocking
and
your
the
energy,
spine that gets all locked up because you're too fearful to move, then it's not going to help, is it?
You need to, and this is the year to do it.
It is. And so last night on the dance floor, did a little bit of dragon qigong. I'm going to share this with you now. So we've got our hands together, and this is the swimming dragon. So just breathing into your belly.
I'm going to come central.
Feeling the support of whatever's beneath you. And that center line. And we're going to imagine that your hands are a dragon head. And this is the beginning of the swimming dragon. I Such good fun, wasn't it?
Mm.
And we literally let the right hand push the left hand over, and then move to the left a little way, and then let the left hand push the right hand over, and then move to the right.
My
obviously.
arm's getting involved. Is it allowance? It's my dragon wing.
It's dragon wings. And then just continue with that yin yang of one hand pushing, the other one following, and swim your dragon head from side to side.
It might look odd, but it feels nice. And you can feel both sides of your brain.
Yes.
Kind of balancing.
That is it. And you can, for what we did, we then said, so how does this then want to move? So you're doing a sped up version, and it can then start moving in these beautiful ways, which often brings in the figure of eight.
And then they were like having little chats, weren't they, with each other, and kind of, hello, my dragon and your dragon.
And then Ian put on the music, and then we just took our dragons into
round
the
the
dance
room,
floor,
and everyone was walking around the room like weaving,
all up high and down low, and all of that. And this is the kind of fun that we have. So thank you for being part of all of this by watching us here on Chi Time with me, Clara Apollo, and the very lovely Jenna Presley. And we will see you soon and chat about something else. I'll put all the links in the bio so you can find out how to get in touch with us all if you want to, or just tell your friends. And if you're watching on YouTube, just click the subscribe, and then you'll get to know when we're going to bring another one through. Yay! Oh. Thanks for watching. Keep your chi up, my friends.